What's up, everyone? Today we're going to talk about the importance of phrasing. Phrasing can be defined as where in time you begin an idea. So do you start on a beat, on the and of a beat, or the e or the of a beat? We can use phrasing to get a lot more mileage out of otherwise short, simple rhythmic ideas. And depending on where an idea is positioned in a beat, it can feel drastically different. If you've ever studied Mark Giuliana's drumming, it's possible you've encountered his drop approach to improvising, where drop is an acronym. D stands for dynamics, how loud are you playing? R stands for rate, what rhythmic division are you using? Eighth notes, triplets, 16th notes, dotted septuplets. O stands for orchestration, how do you arrange the idea around the drums and cymbals? And P stands for phrasing, where in time do you initiate the idea? Some drummers that I think have a masterful grasp on the concept of phrasing include Mark Giuliana, of course, Nate Wood, Mason Guidry, and Chris Paprota, just to name a few. Of course, there are tons of others out there, but when I think phrasing, those four are always like the first names to come to mind. I think rhythmic rate and phrasing go hand in hand in a lot of ways. Depending on the rhythmic rate we're playing with, we may have access to different phrasing possibilities, but since I want to focus on just phrasing today, we're going to stick to only the 16th note grid. To get into things, we'll begin with a 2-beat rhythm, and it's going to be relatively basic. We're just going to have 1 and 2E, 1 and 2E. In that instance, I began the rhythm directly on the beat. How about we begin that rhythm on the and of the beat? So that'll sound like... Even though the relationship between each of those strokes is exactly the same, it feels like a somewhat distinct rhythmic idea just because it's positioned differently in the beat. You should also practice beginning the rhythm from the E or of the beat, and that's going to make things feel quite far removed from the original position of the beat, since now we're really highlighting the 16th upbeats. The whole thing is way more syncopated. So if I begin the rhythm from the E of the beats, it's going to sound like this. And if I begin the rhythm from the of the beats, or the last 16th partial of the beat, it'll sound like this. Next, you'll want to practice each of these rhythmic positions in a sequence. So to demonstrate, I'll play each position for 2 measures, and I'll begin with the rhythm happening directly on the beat, and then I'll begin the rhythm from the E of the beat, and then from the and then finally the When you're comfortable playing that rhythm from each of those 16th note positions, then you can start to orchestrate it around the drums and find different ways of arranging that pattern. That first rhythm was just a tiny little nugget of an idea, only 2 beats long, but let's apply the same approach to a 4-beat rhythm. Now this one is also pretty basic. It's just 3 beats at 8th notes and then 2 16th notes on the last beat. And this second idea sounds like this. That rhythm's pretty bland, if we're being perfectly honest, really not too much going on there. However, if we were to take that whole rhythm and begin it 1/16th note later, suddenly it's going to be way more hip. I think that's way cooler, even though the relationship between all the strokes I'm playing with my hands remain the same, just because the whole idea is positioned to primarily these 16th upbeats. It just has like way more depth to it. It's just a lot more exciting. And just like before, I would strongly recommend practicing all of the positions of this rhythm in a sequence. So start it on the beat, from the E of the beat, the and of the beat, and then the of the beat. Now let's try something that's got more happening rhythmically speaking. So this is going to be another 4-beat rhythm, but way heavier on the 16th notes, and it sounds like this. Sounds like elementary school, but that idea becomes a lot more hip depending where you position it. So same kind of thing as before, you want to practice that whole rhythm beginning on the beat, then beginning from the E of the beat, the and of the beat, and finally the of the beat. Let's say you have a short 2-measure drum solo or something. We could take this last rhythmic idea and for the first measure, play it beginning directly on the beat, but then in the second measure, you play the same rhythm but beginning from the E of the beat. And just because it's repositioned, it's going to feel like an almost completely unique idea. So it's just a great way to get more mileage out of anything you already know how to play. The same thing could apply for triplets. You could even start superimposing rhythms that you would play in 16th notes and just force them into triplet spacing and see how things line up differently. But again, that's much more an exercise in rate. And if I start talking about rate, like, we're going to be here all day, and I just can't do that to myself. I strongly encourage you, to the point that I demand you to come up with some of your own rhythms and run them through this process. Take any rhythmic idea you can think of, but begin it from each 16th note position, or if you have a triplet idea, try beginning it from each of the different triplet positions. And let trial and error be your guide. If you like what you saw in this video, check out my Patreon page. Your support grants you access to transcriptions for this video, as well as transcriptions for all my other lesson videos. And follow me on Instagram @drummerhar to see more videos of my playing. As always, thanks for watching and see you next time.